There we go. Okay, yes. Now it's working. Hi, everyone. Hello. Welcome to another little live chat. I hope you're all doing well. Who do we have here joining us? We've got Freddie Mercury and Flea Sills. Hello. Flea Sills is a little stressed doing two 7.5 week classes, so it's like jamming 15 weeks all at once. Yikes. Freddie's doing no work, really. Great. That sounds good, too. Uh, and Jeff Fleesel's just got a copy of Animal Crossing. Not going to want to study. John Ingold is here. Hello. Good to see you again. That's so Derek is here. May the 23rd be with you as well. Jenny Morris says hello. Christy Abbey says, you always have these when I can't quite pull the time to say stay, but I always try to pop in and say hi. So hello to Christy. Timothy the Wolf is here. Hello to Timothy the Wolf. And Uncle Deadly, hello there to you. John Ingold says, wanted to say thanks so much for the Madeline Kahn recommend. Cosby is on Prime and Loving Madeline, Season 4, Episode 11. It's great. It is very, very good. Loving Madeline is the episode that they ran when Madeline Kahn passed away, and it's a collection of some of her best moments, and it's just really lovely and pleasant and delightful. So I'm glad that you're enjoying that. It's a nice time to think about Madeline Kahn. Of course, I recommend checking out What's Up, Doc, and Clue, and all the many Madeline Kahn films, Blazing Saddles and all that, and Paper Moon. But yeah, I think those. I think now's a good time to watch Madeline. It's also a good time to get ready for my next culture cruise. My next video is going to be going up today for Patreon backers. I just have to QC it just to make sure there's nothing weird about it, but it's going to be going up today for Patreon backers, and for everybody else, it'll be going up in the coming week, probably Monday or Tuesday. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Patreon backers, of course, get early ad-free access to videos, stickers and books in the mail, shout-outs in videos and stuff like that. You can also sponsor an episode of Sewers. Oh my god, so much stuff. I've been thinking about revamping some of those rewards a little bit, actually. So let me know, are there things that you would like me to offer for Patreon backers as, reward at reward tiers? Right now, let's see. What can you get? You get a little thank you on the my website, you get early access to videos, you get exclusive access to Cozy Pants, which is our patron-only podcast where James and I chat about stuff. So if you like these little conversations that we have every 2 weeks, you should subscribe to Cozy Pants, and you'll get even more of that with me and with James. Let's see, what else do you get? You can get a copy of my book in the mail. Some of those are going out very soon. You can get a copy of the audiobook version of my book, Defining Marriage. So lots of stuff that you can get right now. Bookmarks. You can get a little bookmark with, what is it? It's got Quentin Crisp on it, a little Quentin Crisp bookmark. Anyway, these are all the things you can get from my Patreon. But I've been thinking about offering some other stuff, switching things up a little bit, maybe offering some monthly rewards instead of just like a one-time thing when you sign up. So we'll see. Let me know if there's stuff that you want me to offer. Anyway, what do we got? Christy Abbey says hello to Seal0626. So hello to CR Estrada and Seal0626. Good morning from Neil. Timid says, how's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Jenny Moore just woke up, and it's 1 p.m. here. Okay, well, it's a fine time to wake up. A nice, relaxing lay-in. Yeah, I got to sleep in a little bit today as well. Usually I have to get up a little before 9 to get on some calls. So I have editorial meetings around 9 a.m. Where I am, which is not as bad as it used to be. It used to be I had to wake up at 5:30 a.m. Oh, nightmare. Charles Ritz likes my haircut. Who did it? It was me. I did it. There it is. Kind of had to go in blind, and now that I'm looking at over here, there might be like a little bit of a. I don't know if this is quite right here. Looks like there's kind of a weird patch. Anyway, it's getting to be that time where I have to do it again, actually, because it's getting a little shaggy in the back, and I'm gonna have to. I get very nervous about it, but basically taking it like that. Let's see. Rizzle says, hey, all the time I have my D&D campaign while you stream. Glad to say hi even for a bit. I'm so glad that the D&D campaigns are going well. How's that going? Tell me about, I remember when you were creating your character and stuff. I want to hear all about your campaign. Sierra Strata says, can't wait for next Culture Cruise. Hope you and James are doing great. Oh, yes, the next Culture Cruise. So, next Culture Cruise is going to be about the documentary The Queen, a 1968 documentary that captures gay life in the 1960s, just what it was like to be a gay person back then, and also a confrontation, a big fight that happens right at the end that basically precipitated the start of the ballroom scene that we have in Paris is Burning and on the show Pose. So we get to see the fight that really started that whole scene 20 years before Paris is Burning happened. Rezel says, wish you and the viewers have the gayest of days today. Thank you. Melissa Roach is here. Hello. Hope you're doing well. How are things with you and the kid? Good to see you here in the chat. Good Guy 630 says, find the comment section. Hello. Good. Yes. Hello. Welcome. Sierra Strata says, I'm doing okay. A bit stressed because I got the whole magazine due on June 1st. Wait, what is the magazine? Tell me about that. I don't know. Can't remember if you told me about the magazine already. So tell me again if you have already. Seal says, I'm covered in sawdust. I'm in the process of refitting an antique sewing tabletop to fit the antique, but frustratingly, not quite compatible sewing machine. Oh, geez. How frustrating that they just don't quite match. But that's an exciting DIY project. I've got some stuff in the pipe that I'm going to be working on here as well. I want to make a rainwater collection barrel. So basically, I have a mandate from one of my editors to we're all doing a theme around clouds. So it's going to be a themed week around clouds, and I have to come up with stories to write about clouds. So one of them is about how to capture a cloud so it can't wreak any more havoc. Not really, but to capture the contents of the cloud in a rainwater barrel. So I'm going to try to build one. We'll see how that goes. I've never tried to do that before, but it seems pretty straightforward. Just get a barrel, you get a pipe bib, you get a washer and some silicone cock. Not silicon. Silicone cock. I always confuse those two. Caulk. And what else? There's some other. Oh, and of course you have the pipe or a drain lid to put on top. But I think it should be doable. I think so. We're gonna see how that goes. And then I'm gonna write about it. It's raining here. Oh, it quit raining here, says Neil. Really nice day. Seal got a little bit of rain. You know, a little bit of rain is the right amount of rain. It's nice when it's just like, okay, that'll do. Thanks. Moving on. I'm also going to be moving some of my planters. My planters right now are just at the edge of the balcony, and I got permission to put some of them like outside where they get a lot more sun, a lot more rain. So going to be moving some of those around today, hopefully. Freddie Mercury says, have you seen Ben Platt live at Radio City Music Hall on Netflix? It was really good. He talks about his coming out, which is cool. No, I haven't. It was Ben Platt. Should I know that name? I feel like maybe I should, but it doesn't seem familiar to me. Ben Platt. No, who is that? Timot's been playing Animal Crossing since midnight, finally getting my town looking well. I'm so glad to hear that. Hooray. I have to check out your new, I know you sent so their new D&D class icons that you create. I have to go look at that. I haven't been turning on Animal Crossing as much because I've been spending all of my time with Dragon Quest Builders, which I like a little bit more because there's more engineering challenges. It's got a little bit more construction stuff, and I like the construction aspect of it. It's a little more, it's kind of like Animal Crossing plus Minecraft. So it adds a whole Minecraft thing on top of it, which I appreciate that. And that's got us thinking maybe we should start a Minecraft server. James and I are thinking about starting a Minecraft server. Would folks be interested in that? If we start a little server that you could just pop in, build some stuff, hang out, do something gay? I don't know. Should we start a Minecraft server? That might be fun. This is from a bit ago, but did you see the Sondheim 90th birthday thing, says Jenny? Yes. Wasn't it great? Oh my goodness. It was so good. It was such a pleasure to watch. Of course, Sondheim, a fantastic musical theater writer, I guess you'd say, musician, composer, writer, lyricist, all that stuff. And just a brilliant guy. So yeah, he had a 90th birthday, which amazing. How lucky are we to be living in a time when Stephen Sondheim exists? And it was just a real delight to watch. Of course, Audra McDonald's bit was just revelatory. Watching her sing Ladies Who Lunch with Christine Baranski and Meryl Streep. Just fantastic. So good. So good. Speaking of Audra McDonald, The Sound of Music live from a few years ago is now available to watch just for another day. Then it's going down again. But Andrew Lloyd Webber's company has just posted on YouTube. If you look up "The Shows Must Go On," you can find it there. It's available to watch for just for another 24 hours. But it's the the Sound of Music, the Sewers of Music. It's the Sound of Music live from 2013 that NBC did, and it features Audra McDonald as the Mother Abbess doing just an incredible version of "Climb Every Mountain." So I highly recommend that. Glory Fink says, I love watching Culture Cruise. Really enjoy history through other lenses such as fashion or TV. Great. Yes, well, you're gonna get quite a bit of history in my next one. It's going up today for Patreon backers, next week for everybody else. We're gonna go back to the 1800s and some early drag balls in New York in the 1800s, 1860s, just after the Civil War. Incredible that this was a thing. So we're going to talk about that, bring it all the way up to the 1960s, then up to the 1980s with Paris is Burning and Ballroom. So it's a 120-year journey. Actually, a little bit more like 140, 150. Yeah, 150-year span in this video because we go all the way up to Pose in the 2010s. So, wow. Got around to finishing Orange is the New Black in The Haunting of Hill House as good guy. Yeah, okay. Orange is the New Black have not watched, although I do like Catherine Mulgrew. I should watch it for her. Seal finally watched Paris is Burning. The ending left me uncomfortable. It felt exploitative. Could have easily, or at least it could have been exploitative, and there's no evidence it wasn't. There's a lot of debate about that. Was it or wasn't it? I'm going to have to address that. My next video is going to be about Paris is Burning. I'm going to have to talk about that in the video. Was that just a case of a white person dropping into a predominantly culture of color and exploiting it to make that documentary? My own feeling is it's not, as like you say, as bad as it could have been. But then again, a lot of those performers say that they expected more money than they got and expected more period than they got. So, the fact that participants in the documentary were dissatisfied with it is, I mean, it's troubling. Rezel says, we had a bar fight. The party participated in the Minstrels Guild, where they're considered good fun, even though everyone ends up with broken ribs. In the end, they were knocked out by a barmaid. That's great. Oh, wait. They knocked out a barmaid or they were knocked out by a bar? Well, either way. Sounds like fun. Sounds like a romp. I'm glad that you're having fun in your D&D campaign. That is great. I let my players go loose on those with funny action tables and gnomes flying everywhere. That is awesome. I love that. I love gnomes flying everywhere. It's very good. Good guy says, we have rain for the past 3 days in North Carolina. Yikes. That is, I mean, good for the plants. And that's all you can say when it's like rainy, and you're like, I want to go out and do stuff and I want to see the sun. At least it's good for the plants. But it does get old. John Ingold recommends Evan Hansen. I do like some of the songs. In Evan Hansen. The story... yeah. Dirty Uncle Owen is here. I made it to another stream. Yay. Glad to have you here. Oh, Ben Platt was Evan Hansen. I see. Okay. Ben Platt was Evan Hansen. Okay, so he did a little Netflix special. All right. Oh, and he's the guy from The Politician. Okay, it's all coming together. Gotcha. Did you see a second season for The Politician? I have not started watching that. I'm not sure if I would enjoy it. But second season's coming, so clearly somebody enjoys it. Seal says to Ciara Estrada, when they made it so clear that she had no one to act on her behalf, but have legal clout, and then used her for dramatic device, it feels wrong and dehumanizing. Are you talking about Venus at the end of Paris is Burning? Charles Ritt is bummed about Jerry Stiller and Fred Willard. Did you ever see the film Best in Show? 7.5 until Fred Willard comes on as a clueless commentator, takes it to an 11. Yeah. Oh, he's so good. Fred Willard. Just great. I think my favorite Fred Willard is relatively recent. It's him playing this weird, whimsical noise-making organ at a church, and then turning around and saying to the congregation, my condolences, because it turns out he was playing at a funeral. It's very funny. I like it a lot. Sierra says, as for the Minecraft server, I don't play Minecraft, but I totally support you and James hosting a server. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I had the story. Seal says, had the story been fictional, I would have applauded the dramatic timing of the abruptly talking about one of the characters in the past tense and leaving the audience scrambling to catch up. Yeah, it's so. That ending is, it really knocks you out. Melissa's starting my morning drinking hibiscus tea out of a knockoff Thor hammer. Oh, that's great. I like that. Eric Hant says, Ballroom Show Legendary is coming to HBO this month. Oh, I should check that out. Wait, is there another? There's going to be another Ballroom Show? We've got Pose and Legendary? What's going on? I'm delighted that that's happening, but it's surprising that those are both happening. Is it set in the past or is it set like right now? Because, Ballroom's still a thing. Flea still says, Michigan will be getting rain tomorrow and Monday. Ugh. Again, good for the plants. Put your plants out. Have them soak up some of the rain. Make the most of that. If you can't go out, at least your plants can. I'm looking at our plants right now. What have we got? We've got some ivy that suddenly decided now's the time to grow. I thought it was dead, but suddenly it's just like, it's sprouting in every direction. We've got some mystery plants that the birds have left. Oh my goodness. So I'm sure I've talked about this, how I put out peanuts for the crows, and my hope is that the crows will bring me presents. Well, after years of doing that, they have finally brought me my first present. The crows brought me something yesterday, a used rubber glove. A rubber glove that has clearly been used because it's been turned inside out. Crows just brought it, left it next to the peanuts, flew away. I'm like, thanks. Thank you, birds. Thank you for this used glove. Rusty says, Sewers of Paris, Sewers of Music is the alternate title for Phantom. Actually, I kind of like that, Rusty. Yes, Phantom of the Opera, also known as the Sewers of Music. Seal says, the way the end of the Sewers of Paris, oh my gosh, why do I keep saying that? The way the end of Paris is Burning was cut together was dramatically brilliant, but it turned Venus Extravaganza into an exciting, tragic character rather than a young woman who had dreams and aspirations for the future. I mean, I think she's both. She is exciting and also tragic, but she is also a young woman with dreams and aspirations. You really feel for her. You really identify with her. And then that ending just hits you like a ton of bricks. So I'm not sure. I'm going to have to rewatch that again carefully, but I don't think it's a problem the way that that's handled in the documentary. Obviously, there's a lot of problems with the way that queer people had limited resources, nowhere to turn, and victims of violence and all that stuff. But I think the documentary handles it as best it can, because I would rather that be in there than just like covered over and like, oh, and she's fine. I mean, we should talk about what happened to her. Mixtery says it's gin o'clock in Antwerp. Wonderful. Enjoy your gin. Are you just drinking like straight gin, or are you mixing it with something? Glory Fink's getting intermittent thunder in Mississippi. That's exciting. We almost never get thunder and or lightning in Seattle, and I miss exciting weather like that. Mackenzie says, I'm late, but you're here. You're here. We're going to be streaming for another 40 or so minutes, and then Arson Nikki's going to be starting a very exciting stream, so we're going to kick it over to her. Arson Nikki's doing a Pride, I guess kind of a pre-Pride stream, a partnership with a whole bunch of other drag performers. And so they're all going to be getting into Face separately and then playing some games together. So Arson, if you are not familiar, is one of our heroines in Queens of Adventure, our podcast featuring drag queens playing Dungeons and Dragons, going on adventures with death drops and death saves and daring do to die for. So yes, check out Arson Nikki's stream starting at noon. We're going to be kicking over to her in just a little bit. In addition to being a Dungeons and Dragons heroine, she has also started doing some video game live streams, and they have been just a real hoot. It is such a delight to watch Arson. So I'm very excited to see her gaming with a whole bunch of drag queens. Oh, Eric Hand says Legendary is a competition show. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, ballroom competition. That's great. So we don't have HBO right now, but maybe we have to get it so that I can watch that, because that does sound pretty good. Dirty Uncle Owen says you should check out What's a Girl Like You. It follows the Royal Vauxhall Tavern pub in central London. Interesting drag scene at that time. Most of the queens are straight. That's fascinating. Okay, I will definitely look that up. Hold on, let me make a little note of that. What's a Girl Like You 69. Looks like that's available through BFI Player. Oh, and it's available on YouTube. Okay, great. That looks fantastic. Okay. Definitely will check that out. Rusty says, make a mask out of the rubber glove. No, thank you to that. I don't even want to touch it. Like, I'm going to have to throw it away unless the crows are like, hey, what did you do with my glove? I was saving it. Yeah, I'm so angry at the, like, bring me something shiny. Don't bring me garbage. Oh, Fleecil says the Midland Dam in Mid-Michigan broke after the rain we got. I saw. Yeah, a bunch of people had to be evacuated after the dam burst. Yeesh. Wait, did the dam break? Did it burst? Or I thought it just, like, went around the sides. Just, like, flooded. Maybe both. Yeah, Sierra, the crows are like, here, have some germs, human. It's very like, oh, thanks. Gloryfink says, I just woke up a few minutes ago. Now I'm craving an iced coffee, but I don't want to miss this lovely sit-down chat. You can step away, have your iced coffee, have a nice little drink. Enjoy yourself. Timid says, didn't one of the queens in Paris is Burning end up having a dead body found in a trunk in their closet? Yes. So as David Abercrombie says, that was Doreen Corey. And thank you, Mackenzie, for the tip. Yay, I really appreciate it. It's always such a pleasure to see the little rainbow on there. Yay, thank you for the rainbow tip, Mackenzie. Yeah, so Doreen Corey, did have, after she passed away, they were going through her stuff and found a mummified human body in her closet that was just there, as far as anyone knows, the whole time they were making the documentary. Whose was it? What was it doing there? How did it get there? Nobody knows. What an incredible mystery. It's one of the most fascinating things about the documentary. A documentary full of fascinating things is just one of those things because there's no resolution. There's no idea who it could have been. I think Ask a Mortician did a video about that one. Just, what? What? Urstein Comic Geek says, I think Venus Extravaganza story is treated very well. I've watched Paris is Burning like 10 times. Isaac Snow's here. Good morning to you. Seal says, I think, though, immediately making my previous statement false, it's knowing that there was no one to say, out of respect, you will not use that footage. Had that been what was wanted? Well, actually, that's a good question. I don't know. Surely there would have been. Because she was part of a house. So somebody with the House of Extravaganza would have said, presumably, please don't use that. And I wonder if there was... I'm sure there was a lot of conversation about what to do with her footage. So I wonder what that conversation was. Because she wasn't, Venus wasn't just like all on her own. She had people who were in her life. So I wonder what they told Jenny Livingston, who made the documentary. If she asked, what they said, like, what that was. I'll do some digging on that. I usually do a whole bunch of research before I write my scripts. So I'll see if I can find out any more about what happened after Venus was killed. Gloryfink says, I love the gentle rain in Seattle, but I can see how it might get tiresome after a while. I don't know. Like, it doesn't get old to me. I mean, in part because I seldom have to leave the house, so I can just look out at it and appreciate it. I like the gentle rain. Like, I don't think there's ever a time when I'm like really tired of the rain where I'm like, I wish it would stop. I'm just, yeah, I'm pretty happy with rainy days, in part because it means that I don't have to water the plants as much. I don't have to carry the heavy bucket. I'm getting a new watering can today. Very excited. It's coming in the mail. The new watering can's on its way. It holds a gallon more and has a much better handle and a better spout, so it can do like a sprinkle on the plants instead of like just a gushing stream on the plants. Very excited about my new watering can, everybody. Mackenzie said, I tried 2 super chats. Apple took my money without sending them. What? I'll have to look into that. I don't know exactly what the rules are for that or how it works. Let me see. What is the super chat supposed to do? Super chat, YouTube. Yeah, it's supposed to put stickers in and stuff, right? Huh. Yeah, and pin stuff. Yeah. It should have worked. Let me know if you're getting like an error message or anything, Mackenzie. It's weird that they didn't work. Rezel's got to go. The break is over. I'm going to say I'm so glad I made it again. I'm glad that you're here. Have fun with more tavern brawls. That sounds very exciting. Tomer recommends, seconds a recommendation for What's a Girl Like You. If you like it, I have a whole program of UK drag films I can recommend Tomer, absolutely, yes, please. Please send those along. I would love to check those out. I'm always looking for stuff that I can do culture cruises about, or stuff that can bolster the research for stuff. So I'm doing one on Paris is Burning next month. I'm definitely going to be looking for more documentation of drag, particularly around the 1980s. CR says, I become a fan of Arson since I've been on Twitch. Both she and London are great. I'd watch Freya, but I keep missing her streams. Yeah, Freya's is for the early morning crowd and maybe for Europe. Freya does like 9:30 a.m. streams, art streams, which are a delight. She's at Freya_love on Twitter, on Twitch, and on Twitter. So definitely check out Freya on Twitch as well. She has some nice early morning chill out, relaxing art streams where she just draws stuff. And she also plays some video games. Arson, of course, a true delight. Arson Nikki on Twitch. And London Bradshaw also streaming at Lundy Bradshaw 27 on Twitch. All delightful and followable. London does a lot of makeup streams. She does the makeup and then she plays some games. Arson does some makeup and then she often plays like classic 90s games, which are really fun. She does, and she has a Bean Boozled thing where you can tip her or you can use channel points. That's what it is. Use channel points, and she has to spin a dial and eat a jelly bean. I almost called it a lima bean. She has to eat a jelly bean, and she doesn't know if it'll be a good jelly bean or a gross jelly bean. And so sometimes it'll be like, cotton candy, and other times it'll be rotten egg. So Arson's a very fun thing set up on her stream. And we're going to be jumping over to Arson in about a half hour once she gets started. Seal says, to make myself unpopular, while I admire his genius and recognize that he revolutionized musical theater and seems like a really nice guy, I don't like Sondheim's work. Just can't get on with it. So that's totally fine, because here's the thing. There's a lot of Sondheim I just don't really like. There's a lot of like Sunday in the Park with George that I like, but there's parts of that show that I feel like really drag. Gosh, what else? I mean, he's had a lot of flops. There's Merrily Roll Along, which has good ideas, but it's and of course, there's stuff. I mean, surely you like West Side Story. He did West Side Story, so that's a good one. Ba-da-da-da-da. Who else do we have here? Ursine Comic Geek says good morning, although in Brooklyn, so good afternoon. Hello to Brooklyn. We talk a little bit. Do we talk about? No, Brooklyn actually does not come up. It'll probably come up in my next one, in my next culture cruise. My dad is from Brooklyn. My dad grew up in Brooklyn. We used to go back there a lot. For the bagels, of course. But yeah, this thing, like we would drive from Connecticut to New York to Brooklyn to buy bagels and Bialys. Because you couldn't get good Bialys in Connecticut. Oh boy, I think it's probably been 20 years since I've had a good... James, have you ever had a good Bialy? James has never had a good Bialy. I don't think Sondheim is a nice guy, says Rusty. I've read a few things. I'm a musical theater major. Really? I don't know anything about his life. Like, I don't know about... I've seen him directing... what's her name? Oh no, what's her name, James? Jack's mother on 30 Rock. Elaine Stritch. I saw him directing Elaine Stritch on that recording for Company. He certainly seems strict, but I don't know if he seems unpleasant. Oh gosh, Fleecil says the dam broke apart in 2 places. Yikes. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about that. Oh, and thank you to Fleecils for the tip. I really appreciate that. And Ursine Comic Geek, you're hot. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I'm blushing all over my body. There's a dead body in the closet on Pose. Yikes. Okay, well that's ripped from the headlines. Sierra says, are they sure that she didn't kill the person? If they were mummified, they were probably there for a long time. Yeesh, that's rough. It's possible. And Rusty says, Sondheim had a heart attack in the 80s. They had to take the headboard with him in the ambulance because he was handcuffed to it. And the 15-year-old boy he was with didn't know where the key was. That's such a shocking story. It's almost too shocking to be true. The details on that are excellent. And what I've found is that usually when a story is so good, it's embellished, let's say. But I mean, maybe that's true. Hold on a moment. Let's do a quick fact check. Sondheim, heart attack, headboard. So it looks like he had a heart attack in 79. 79, 79, 79. I don't see anything about the headboard. Which isn't to say it's not true. But what a story. Oh my goodness. Anyway, thank you, Ursine Comic Geek, for all the rainbow flags. I love them so much. Beautiful. Hooray for that. So thank you from Seattle to Brooklyn. Brooklyn is now Seattle's sister city, thanks to you. Most of the time in Seattle, the gentle rain is what most of us call a mist. Baseball doesn't stop. People on the streets don't take cover. It dries almost as fast as it hits the ground. Yeah, I think that's fair. Aaron says, do you know Danny, who writes for Biographics? I found out in a few other channels he's gay as well. No, I'm not familiar with that. Tell me more about Danny. Is Biographics like a YouTube channel? David Abercrombie says, just don't mention Super Mario World in front of Freya. It didn't go well. Oh, dear. I'm sorry to hear that. And, of course, thank you, Flea Cells, for the beautiful orange tip. Thank you. A little something to do instead of studying. Yay. You should, of course, go back to studying eventually. It's the right thing to do, blah, blah, blah. But, no, stay here with us and talk about fun stuff. We haven't even talked about Avatar. James and I have been rewatching Avatar since it went up on Netflix. Who else has been watching that? It is so good. We just watched The Great Divide, which is the episode that everybody says is the worst. And, it's just, I guess it's kind of a low point for the show because it's not the best, but it's still a fine episode. Jeez. I know there's a lot of drama about like, oh, it's so terrible. It's fine. Whatever. But now it's all uphill from here. And Rusty says, thanks for your help with Sewers of Paris. You're welcome, and thank you for the tip. Ursine says, have you seen and discussed Netflix's The Half of It? Refreshing take on friendship, where the leading character happens to be a teenage Asian LGBT woman. Okay, I'll check that out. The Half of It. Brianna wants to know, Mackenzie, if your icon is Ed from CB. Oh, it is. You're the first person to notice, says Mackenzie. How wonderful. Yay. Mixtery says Bernstein did West Side Story. Yeah, and Sondheim did. I want to say did he do the lyrics? What did he do? He did the words. He did the lyrics. Yes. What a collaboration! I wish there were more Bernstein Sondheim shows. My gosh. When bars reopen, would you recommend going to them? Many gay and straight bars are going under. That's a tough call. If it's safe, we don't know. I've been talking to a lot of business owners here in Seattle because I'm writing about them for The Stranger. And they just don't know. Like, a lot of them are like, I want to reopen, but I also don't want to reopen because it doesn't seem like it's going to be healthy to reopen. What do? I don't know. So I was talking to somebody who owns a tattoo studio, Laughing Buddha here in Seattle. And she's like, we're going to be allowed to reopen in phase 2, which could start as early as June. But she's like, I don't think we should. I think we should wait longer. Because she's like, I don't know how to guarantee everyone's safety. Into the Woods, or Sun Comic Geeks, yes. Sondheim also did Into the Woods. Fantastic. Wait, whoa. Oh gosh, it's scrolling very fast. I'm sorry. Given that there's a biopic and a West Side Story remake, is there a West Side Story remake? Who's going to be in that? Have you done a Bernstein Culture Cruise? No, that might be fun. Was Bernstein gay? Leonard Bernstein gay? That's impossible to type on this keyboard, James. Freddie Bernstein said that she thought he required men sexually and women emotionally. Okay. But he was married to a lady. So that sounds bisexual to me. John Newman says, just got back to the house, missed the last live stream, so I'm severely overdue for my dose of Matt. I'm glad that you're here. Welcome. Hello. Mackenzie says, we've had Avatar in Canada for a long time. Oh, just another way. Canada's ahead of us. Fleeceals is going to start watching. I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. Mina says, have you talked about the new Ryan Murphy? Which one's the new Ryan Murphy? Enjoyed Patty LuPone, but what a mess. Oh, wait, what is... Hollywood, that's the one. Yes. No, have not watched that one yet. I don't think... So, I think What a Mess characterizes a lot of Ryan Murphy projects. Oh, interesting. Rusty says Bernstein handed the lyric credit over to Sondheim to kickstart his career. Bernstein had already done a lot of the lyrics himself. Huh. That is interesting. I didn't know that. Charles Ritz says, what do you think about the SNL at Home episodes? I think they managed to make something out of nothing. Honestly, I think they're kind of better than regular SNL. I think this might be what it needed because often I feel like Saturday Night Live is pretty stale, but this seems to have given it the little kick in the pants that it needed this whole time. Oh, and thank you, Ingy Bingy, for the tip. Do you have any opinion on the gay character Shoreleave on the show Venture Brothers? Oh, I have not watched Venture Brothers since it was on, which I think was what, like 15 years ago? I don't remember. I didn't watch that much. I don't remember Shoreleave. Describe the character to me, and I'll tell you what I think. Sierra Strata says there was a gay bar and gay cafe here in Colorado Springs that closed down completely. They weren't doing great before, but sad to see them go. Yeah, I think a lot of places are going to close and new things are going to have to reopen, hopefully. But it's just hard to know when that's going to be. And when they do open, should you go? I mean, you should support them, but also you shouldn't spread a disease and make yourself and other people sick. Brianna says to Mackenzie, Edgar Wright did a live stream of Scott Pilgrim film adaptation. It's still archived on Twitter. That's great. Yeah, so it's apparently the plan is to bring Scott Pilgrim back to theaters at some point. Originally, it was going to be in August. Who knows now? Mackenzie recommends the John Mulaney sketch about Bernstein. Ooh. Oh, and Achille says Bernstein left his wife for a guy and she got terminally ill right away and he went back. Oh, wow. That sounds like a complex biography. You're going to have to read up on Bernstein. Oh, my goodness. Ursan Comic Geek says, Matt, Bernstein was so gay. I love his music, by the way. Candide is one of my favorites. Oh, did he write Glitter and Be Gay? Was that him? Rusty says, I played Jack in Into the Woods because I'm a ginger and a tenor. Okay, that's great. That's a fun role. How did you handle the cow? Did you have a person in a cow costume? Did you have a cardboard cutout of a cow? Everyone does the cow differently. One of our friends in Chicago played the cow in Into the Woods a couple of years ago. And he's an incredible singer, but he had to play the cow. Good guy played the baker because I resemble dough. Stop. Aaron just searched for Sondheim handcuff headboard and got zero information. I want to know more about that story. I want that to be true. Except for the detail about the person being 15 years old. I don't want that to be true. But the detail about him being handcuffed to the headboard and they had to bring it into the ambulance is such a crazy fun story. Oh, I wish that was true. Seal says SNL is a lot better without the audience forced laughing. Yeah. It's really telling, though, how they keep leaving pauses for laughter after bits that are presumably jokes. That's interesting. They're just trained to leave a laugh break. Aaron says, Danny writes for and with Simon Whistler and runs about 5 or 6 channels. RIFO, today I found out, Biographics and more are his very successful channels. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Biographics sounds good. Venture Brothers is still happening. Oh my goodness. New seasons happen every 2 years or so, but there's Shore Leave is flamboyantly gay. I just assumed that it stopped sometime in the mid-2000s. Super badass secret ops agent sailor soldier. Oh, okay. That's just my type. Rusty says, a girl dancer played the cow. Gotcha. Venture Brothers is still running. And Mina says, I looked it up and the Sondheim story seems to be bullshit. That would be my suspicion. It's just too good of a detail to be true. Urson says, Make Our Flowers Grow is my favorite number. Wait, Make Our Flowers Grow. Is that from Candide or is that... I'm like trying to place that in Into the Woods. I don't think that's in Into the Woods, is it? Mackenzie played Jack. I think technically everyone was in Into the Woods. Technically my first drag role. We didn't have a lot of boys in the theater department. I was taller than most in high school. John says gay bars were on the fringe of extinction before all this. It's really true. Thanks to Tinder, Grindr, etc. Very sad to see the end of that era. Was never a big partier per se, but enjoyed being able to be self in safe place. Yeah, I mean, same for me. Like, I don't go out to bars that much, but it sucks not to have those spaces. And when I do feel like going out, it's nice to have the option. I wonder. So Cece's is just around the corner from us. That's the Fetish Night bar. I wonder if it's going to survive all this time. What else? I mean, the Eagle was teetering on the bridge, on the brink of extinction. The Cuff has done well. They keep expanding, but you know they've got a giant footprint, and I don't know what they're going to do with that space. I mean, the rent has got to be pretty expensive for them. Yeah, so I wonder if gay bars will close, and I wonder if new ones will open, or if gay bars will kind of fade away. Um, because you could always have gay people going to regular bars. You could have gay-ish bars. You could have gay-friendly bars. But I wonder if they'll be like a separate thing like they used to be. Um, Lesbian bars certainly going through a lot of trouble right now. There's only about 16 left, just a little bit more than a dozen left in the entire country, which is wild. And who knows what's going to happen at the end of this. I mean, we've got the Wild Rose just down the street as our lesbian bar in Seattle. It's wonderful, but also I don't think I've ever seen it packed. Kiko says during the stream, a lot of the economic stream is changing in America. I can see places having to reclose just because places become too relaxed for procedure social distance. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think is going to happen. Places might reopen and then have to close right away again, which would be like even worse. Mackenzie says, I got to play a strapping young Mormon boy in Book of Mormon. Ooh. Mercy O'Neill says, Maker Garden grows from Candide. Yeah, so I don't know Candide well at all. I know Glitter and Be Gay basically because of Kristen Chenoweth, and that's about it. And also Madeline, of course. Madeline Kahn saying that, although there's no video of that one. It's just audio recording. Mina says, for all musical theater gays, Andrew Lloyd Webber is live streaming his musicals on his YouTube page called The Shows Must Go On every Friday. Yes, discussed that a little bit earlier in the stream. They've run out of Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals, unfortunately. He only had 6 stage to screen that he could show. So now they're showing some other stuff. They're doing this weekend The Sound of Music from 2013, the live version that NBC did in 2013 with Carrie Underwood as Maria and actually starring Audra McDonald as the Mother Abbess. It's only available for another 24 hours, though, so get it while the getting's good. Good Guy says, a former professor of mine had dinner with Sondheim a few times in a social circle, so he's definitely into kink, bondage, and twinks. He dated Anthony Perkins? Is that true? Okay. Was Anthony Perkins into kink and bondage? How old? Would Anthony Perkins have been a twink at that point? I need more information about the timeline on that one. James Polk says, good to see everyone. Have a great day all. Thank you, James Polk. Good to see you. Glad you could join. Because he says everyone was in Into the Woods, which is weird because it's a really difficult show. I know. Did you all do like both acts, or did you do any of the, a lot of schools do the version where it's like just act 1 and that's enough. So were you all in like the full 2-act version? Mixtery says, with continued acceptance, I'm unsure about the need for a gay bar. I know, same. Oh, getting a spam call. Rusty says, Into the Woods gets done a lot, but not always. Well, not saying my high school nailed it. Yeah. I saw a version in Connecticut. So I grew up in Connecticut. I had a friend who went to Choate, which is a very fancy private school. And they did Into the Woods, and they did an amazing job because they had money and time, and they could dedicate class time to rehearsals and stuff. It wasn't just an after school thing. It was fully their major. Not Into the Woods, musical theater. They're I don't know if it was called a major, but it was their focus. So beautiful sets. The way that they did the set was the entire set was made out of giant books. So all the risers and trees and pages made the leaves of the trees and stuff. Everything on the set was made out of books, and it was just gorgeous. And it was a very good moment when somebody was going up climbing up onto one of the risers, and they tripped and they dropped the glass lantern that they were holding, and it shattered. So there's broken glass on the stage. And it was very oh no, there's broken glass on the stage. And then at another point, not too long after that, another one of the characters pretended to accidentally drop a bag of gold coins. And so the gold coins spilled everywhere on the stage. And he's like, whoops, oh no, how clumsy of me. And from out of nowhere pulls out a broom and dustpan so he could sweep up all the coins and the broken glass that was on the stage. So they worked that into the actual show. It's a very clever way of dealing with a hazard on the stage. Urstein says, I think the only future for gay bars will be sex clubs or public sex establishments, places where one can watch live sex and or participate in live sex. I think you might be onto something with that. I mean, with bathhouses and stuff like that not being safe to go to right now, I don't know what the future of, like, you know, hookup and cruise culture is going to be. CR says there's a bi-friendly lesbian bar in Denver, and now it's gone. Makes me want to open my own cafe and a bar when all this is done, whenever it's finally over anyway. Oh, TIFO, not REFO. Typo, sorry. Okay, TIFO. Today I found out. Gotcha. Yes, Good Guy says you could find a full performance of Candide with Kristen Chenoweth on YouTube. Definitely. So I've watched the Glitter and Be Gay part. I guess I'm going to have to watch the full Candide because I've never actually watched it. Achilles says, do you know, Ursine, do you know if he really did give, so I have no idea what this is about. Do you know if he gave Pizarre permission to rewrite permission to rewrite the lyrics to the Kaddish Symphony? Good Guy says Anthony Perkins was definitely a twink his whole life. I don't know about his whole life. Everyone is saying bless you to James. He says thank you. Anthony and Stephen dated in the early 70s while Anthony Perkins was doing The Last of Sheila. Huh. Interesting. Mackenzie says we did both acts, which was more difficult, but the first act without the second act is kind of lame. I agree with that. Yeah. It's really not the same when you do just act one. Okay. Mackenzie went to a art school, majored in visual arts, and honored in theater. That makes sense. We did a play and a musical each year. So did my high school, although there was no like theater class. It was all after school. We did Merrily We Roll Along my junior year, which, like, looking back, I don't know why we picked that. Not a show that has a lot of resonance for teenagers. You know why? It was because we'd done a lot of, like, Rodgers and Hammerstein up until that point, and I think whoever was picking just needed a break. Seal says Mary Poppins musical has a bunch of really good ones. A bunch of really good improvisation. Erstein sadly says I have no clue about Bernstein and Pixar or Pixar. Like, what is the? I don't know what the story is there at all. Mackenzie says I was pretty much always cast as a boy, except I was Mrs. Lovett. Interesting. Rusty says by the time I'm old enough for a gay bar, they may be gone. I know. Hopefully, surely they will still be a thing. Surely there will still be gay bars out there in the world somewhere. Charles says gay bars are needed just for people coming out and having conversations. I mean, I think they will not go away completely, but yeah, I am curious about, like, the economic reality. I mean, they're needed, but the economic reality of it is it may just not be possible to have the financial resources to run them at this point. Yukiko says there's demand for a business. There will be a market need. They'll be rebuilding and having to make smart decisions for the bars to rise up again, but mostly it will be closing, relocating, and envisioning how to move forward. Sondheim and Perkins writer non-musical Getting Away with Murder. Oh, wait, was Getting Away with Murder? Did Sondheim... I'm not quite following. Did Sondheim write a non-musical play for Anthony Perkins? When Apathy says, Choate is the cocaine school. Oh. Their lacrosse team got in trouble for hazing. Oh, no. Some sexual assault problems. Yikes. Oh, dear. I don't know. So this would have been, like, late 90s. I don't know if that was going on then. I certainly was not a part of the person that I was friends with. I was friends with two people who went to the school there, and that never came up in our conversations. Yikes. Fleece Hills says, I got to work on the soundstage at my high school when they did Sound of Music. I helped build a gazebo that we used. One of my proudest moments. Wow, building a gazebo is very impressive. Congratulations. I don't know, it was a strange thing to congratulate someone for. Congratulations for building a gazebo, but that is really cool. Fleece Hills, I know you're very crafty with all the needlepoint and needlework and crocheting and knitting and all that stuff. That is awesome. Do you also do carpentry stuff? I'm just very impressed by that. I think it's really neat when someone can make stuff with their hands. Kelly says, as regards gay bars, American cities don't like to allow new bars or really new commercial construction at all. We don't think they need to get small. I don't think they need to get small like Japanese bars. I mean, I don't know. It's like just really hard to make predictions right now because there's a lot of unknowns. I have a feeling that it's just going to be really unclear when anything can reopen and when it will be safe. Like it'll just be a big like question mark, and you're on your own. And like bars will be told you can reopen if you want. But I think customers, consumers, people will be wary about going out because it won't quite feel safe. And that's going to suck for businesses because they're like, well, we're allowed to reopen, but none of our customers want to come out to see us. So what do? How do you run a business like that? I mean, how do you run a bar at a time when you're allowed to have one, but all of your people are like, I don't want to. Mitchell says, Sondheim and George Firth wrote Getting Away with Murder. Sondheim wrote the film The Last of Sheila. Okay, gotcha. Oh, no. And Rusty says, Sondheim and Perkins co-wrote the play together. Okay. So Getting Away with... Oh, boy. Is the play Getting Away with Murder? There's a lot of conversations happening all at once. The Last of Sheila was written by Sondheim and Perkins. Okay. As a couple, that's kind of sweet. Seal says, contingency plans. Oh, they have so many impressive tricks and set pieces that could go wrong in Mary Poppins, and a plan B for each of them. I see. But also for little things, like what to do with the vase if the stars don't shatter when dropped. It's simple, but so slick. If it doesn't break, it's picked up with a sigh of relief and handed to someone else, who then drops it again. Okay, that's pretty funny. The contingency, I was just watching a video about this in Wicked. If the Elphaba lift breaks down, like there's a part in Defying Gravity where she's like supposed to go up in the air. So apparently, if it doesn't go up in the air, what's supposed to happen is everyone on the stage lies down on their backs and points up. Like, so it's supposed to make them look like they're like she's flying and they're just low down. But it's just ridiculous. Everyone's just like lying on the ground, like, get her. Well, you're lying on your back. Urstein says, Into the Woods is awesome because it deals with the loss of innocence. Sondheim used the mechanism of fairy tales to help the adults in the audience recognize the loss of their own innocence. That is very true. There's a lot of psychology in that show. In Gloryfink, you make a good point that a lot of young people don't have the money to support a gay bar, but need one for community building. Yeah, that's another tough call, especially in smaller towns. Like you might have LGBTQ community center or something like that, or just, I don't know, like Hugo House that we have here in Seattle, like gathering places and social things in big cities. But, you know, if you're in like, I mean, even a mid-sized city, like, I don't know, Tulsa or Boise or something, fewer options. And then, you know, you're kind of on your own if you're in the middle of nowhere or just the suburbs. Like, there's just not enough people to have a, you know, like a well-supported support place. Jamie says our casinos are opening up soon. Ours too, here in Washington. Yukiko says there was a strip joint that was doing a drive-through service at a stripping, I guess, and doing social distance for serving buffalo wings. I mean, I guess like places might find ways around and might find ways to do things safely, but I just, you know, picturing how cramped and weird gay bars are, I just don't know how they could enforce like distancing at a gay bar. Like, a part of the pleasure there is like everybody rubbing up against each other. Flea says, doesn't do woodworking anymore. I do love woodwork and know how to use power tools, which surprised my dad, but I don't do any of that anymore. I also helped with a lot of the building of the sets. And Good Guy points out, yeah, theater tech is all about problem solving. That's, I think, why I'm liking Dragon Quest Builders, because it's a lot of problem solving and building stuff. John says, you're a good host. I hope we don't wear you out. Have a great holiday, my friend and friends. Thank you. Oh, that, of course. It's Memorial Day weekend right now. I hope everybody's doing something, I don't know, somber and appropriate for Memorial Day weekend. Seal says that was the problem with bars and clubs in the UK for ages because there wasn't an official shutdown. They couldn't claim on their insurance, but they couldn't stay open because they're not idiots. Yeah. And theaters. Yeah, of course. It's really helpful when the government's like, no, you have to close, because then you could be like, well, we have to close. But if they're doing it just because it's not safe, yeah. Aaron suggests a new type of gay bar, a dinner musical. A dinner musical, then question mark? I love the comfortable feeling that is present, but I know many people whose drinking ruin their lives. Yeah. I mean, that's another problem, of course, is that it's unfortunate that a lot of gay gathering spaces are predicated on drinking. I say as I take a swig of water. It's just water. I don't actually drink. But yeah, I agree. It sucks that a lot of those places are just expected to drink. That can cause problems. It'd be nice if there were more gay, non-drinking places, but, you know, even harder to make money that way. John says, before I go, Team Jada, Team Gigi, or Team Crystal? Gigi, I think. Mina says, I live in a relatively big city and there's 0 spaces for gay women. We don't even have a grinder. Yeah, I mean, that's another big problem. Like, spaces for queer women really disappearing. Like, used to be a lot of bookstores or cafes or, or bars. Or, I don't know, softball clubs. Dirty Uncle Owen says, most restaurants here in the UK have switched over to takeaway service. I mean, that seems appropriate. Yeah, and Mina says, straight bars suck. Who wants to go there? Unless you do like a takeover where you're like, all right, this former straight bar is now a gay bar. That's the rules. The end. Several of the pubs and bars are testing the idea of doing the same takeaway idea, but other than to support a business, not sure on the merits. Yeah, I mean, like, ultimately, the thing that I think everybody wants is to hang out again. Everybody misses that, but you can't. You can't. It sucks. Seal says, people have been saying for a while there's a crying need for gay coffee shops, places where kids are welcome. I mean, for sure, there are, like, a lot of neighborhoods do have those. I think coffee shops just generally tend to be less cruisy, so they don't feel as gay. Like, I think a big part of what makes the gay bars feel like gay bars is queer people hitting on each other. And I think that happens a lot less when there's less drinking. Maybe if we had, like, I don't know, like weed bars or something like that, where you have like an edible and get high. But I don't, even that, I don't know that like that would lead to a lot of flirting and cruising. Mitchell says, I saw Getting Away with Murder. I almost said Mitchell got away with murder. Mitchell says, I saw Getting Away with Murder on Broadway and was definitely written by Sondheim and Firth. Okay, well, that settles that. Urson Comic Geek says, maybe not a gay bar per se, but rather a community center where adults and underage gays could gather. I mean, that is definitely needed. The problem is, who's going to pay for it? They're expensive to run those things. They don't make money. And, it's just a constant process of like applying for grants and getting, money from charitable sources. And that's a lot of work. It's more work than running a bar. And it's not a guaranteed thing that it's going to be able to keep going. So yeah, it's really hard to do those, especially in small towns. Mackenzie's been burying my head in sapphic Star Trek chat rooms. That sounds great. Ingy Bingy says there's a big Chinese food place near Boston. They're going to try to be a drive-in movie theater this summer. They got a big parking lot. Okay. That's pretty cool. I like that. Oh, and it looks like Arson Nikki has just gone live. So we're going to toss it over to her in just a minute. And tell her about your gay bars, your gay bar memories and all that stuff. And Good Guy recommends a short documentary on the YouTube channel Broadly called Searching for the Last Lesbian Bars in America. Yes, and Mina makes a good point. Lesbian bars are great because of the lack of flirting by straight men. Yes. Or Alexander says those gathering places could go underground like 1930s Berlin. So much fun. Cabaret. Oh, yeah. Cabaret. Great lighthearted fun times. Good times for all in Cabaret. Okay, so Arson Nikki, the delightful Arson Nikki, our warlock from Queens of Adventure, has just gone live. She's going to be putting on her face, and then she's going to be playing some video games with some other queens this afternoon. So, James, are you able to put a link to Arson's Twitch in the chat? James is going to put a link to Arson's Twitch in the chat. Go say hello to Arson. Tell her I send my best. I'll hang out in Arson's chat as well for a little bit and chat with everybody. And of course, join us for our next live stream in 2 weeks on June. I don't remember. Hold on, let's see. June 6th. June 6th at 11 a.m. We're doing the next one of these. And there we go. James just put the link in there. Mixtery says, thanks again for the fun evening. Thanks to everybody for joining. Thanks to everybody for the tips. I really appreciate those. I'm only able to do this kind of stuff, these videos and live stream and podcasts and everything because of the support of folks like you. So thanks to everybody who's a supporter on Patreon. Thanks to everybody who's tipped in the stream. Thank you to everybody. And, if you don't have the money for that right now, totally understand. Now's a weird time. But, just sharing and spreading the word and liking and leaving reviews and comments and stuff, that is all super, super helpful and doesn't cost a dime. Oh, and Aaron Thor, look at all those rainbows. And Mackenzie, rainbow flags. Oh, I love the rainbows so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let's go hop on over to Arson and give her our best. I'm going to click that right now. And I will see you again. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, dear. Oh, heavens. And I will see you all again in 2 weeks. And don't forget, New Culture Cruise video coming for Patreon backers today and next week for everybody else. Yay! All right, everybody. I will see you later. Thanks for joining. As always, goodbye.